So this is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. It is a game from, as you can see, it was originally released in 2001 in Japan as Gyakuten Saiban, a turnabout courtroom. It was localized and put on DS in 2005, which I think essentially makes it launched. It's a very early DS game. That was part of a release of all 3 games in the series at that point. So yeah, this series is particularly famous for its localization, in that its localization is, you know, for a localization, absolutely bloody amazing. So we have 1 episode available to us because we only this is the first time we played the game. Wow, I do you understand how long it has been since I have seen this screen without a save file? Okay, so this is a visual novel, which means that characters mostly talk to each other, or Phoenix mostly narrates in his head. I'm gonna have to do that. Okay, so the first turnabout. It's kind of dramatic. Damn it! Why me? I can't get caught. Not like this. I've got to find somebody to pin this on. Someone like him. I'll make it look like he did it. It is August the 3rd of the year. I think this game actually takes place like 2 or 3 years from now. 3 years, I think. But that's kind of scary. Boy, am I nervous. Accents. Boy, am I nervous. Right? Oh, hiya, Chief. Whew, I'm glad I made it on time. Well, I have to say, Phoenix, I'm impressed. Not everyone takes on a murder trial right off the bat like this. It says a lot about you, and your client as well. Thanks. Actually, it's because I owe him a favor. A favor? You mean, you knew the defendant before this case? Yeah. Actually, I kind of owe my current job to him. He's one of the reasons I became an attorney. Well, that's news to me. I want to help him out any way I can. I just really want to help him. I owe him that much. It's over! My life, everything, it's all over! Isn't that your client screaming over there? Yeah. That's him. Death! Despair! Ah! I'm gonna do it! I'm gonna die! It sounds like he wants to die. Yeah. Nick! Hey there, Larry. Dude, I am so guilty. Tell him I'm guilty. Give me the death sentence. I ain't afraid to die. What? What's wrong, Larry? Oh, it's all over. I'm finished. Finished. I can't live in the world without her. I can't. Who took her away from me, Nick? Who did this? Nick, you gotta tell me! Who took my baby away? Well, the person responsible for your girlfriend's death? The newspapers say it was you. You might notice that Nick doesn't have a lot of faith in his clients. That's really something. I don't know. My name is Phoenix Wright. That's not true. This is the dub talking. Like I said, this game is heavily localized. Originally, it took place at the time of release in 2001 in Japan with Japanese characters. But its localization places it in California in something like 2016. And all the characters have been given American names. Phoenix Wright is a fairly good swap-in for the name Naruhodo Ryuichi. Ryu containing dragon and Naruhodo being... Ah, I see. Phoenix Wright is close, I suppose. Here's the story. My first case is a fairly simple one. A young woman was killed in her apartment. The guy they arrested was the unlucky sap dating her. Larry Butts. My best friend since grade school. Our school had a saying, when something smells, it's usually the butts. In the 23 years I've known him, it's usually been true. He has a knack for getting himself into trouble. One thing I can say though, it's usually not his fault, he just has terrible luck. But I know better than anyone, he's a good guy at heart. That, and I own one. Which is why I took the case, to clear his name. And that's just what I'm going to do. Awful cool sound effect. And now speaks an old man. I cannot do old man voices, I'm sorry. The court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Larry Butts. He's now British. Sue me. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The, defense is ready, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, this is your first trial, is it not? Yes, Your Honor. I'm a little nervous. Your conduct during this trial will decide the fate of your client. No shit, it's a fucking trial. Murder is a serious charge. For your client's sake, I hope you can control your nerves. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, given the circumstances, I think we should have a test to ascertain your readiness. Yes, Your Honor. Handshaking, eyesight fading. The test will consist of a few simple questions. Answer them clearly and concisely. Please state the name of the defendant in this case. Well, obviously it's me. No, it's not. The defendant is... The defendant? Well, that's Larry Butts, Your Honor. Correct. Just keep your wits about you and you'll do fine. Next question. This is a murder trial. Tell me, what is the victim's name? Whew, I knew this one. Glad I read the case report cover to cover so many times. It's... Wait, uh-oh. No way, I forgot! I'm drawing a total blank here. Phoenix, are you absolutely sure you're up to this? You don't even know the victim's name? Oh, the victim. Of course I know the victim's name. I just forgot. Temporarily. I think I feel a migraine coming on. Look, the defendant's name is listed in the court record. Just touch the court record button to check it any time, okay? Remember to check it often. Do it for me, please. I'm begging you. You might notice she just said the defendant's name. We already did the defendant question. Let's see your answer. Who was the victim in this case? And so you've been asked to check the court record. Profiles is the section we actually want. And here's our victim, who is a wonderful pun name. They all have wonderful pun names. Well, not you, you have a confusing name. See what I mean? That's several layers of glory. So anyway, our victim is called Cindy Stone. The victim's name is Cindy Stone. Correct. Now, tell me, what was the cause of death? She died because she was... Well, luckily we just scanned over the item, so... Also, we saw it. But I don't think we can submit that to the court. She was struck once by a blunt object. Correct. You've answered all my questions. I see no reason why we shouldn't proceed. You seem much more relaxed, Mr. Wright. Good for you. Thank you, Your Honor. Because I don't feel relaxed, that's for sure. Well then. First, a question for the prosecution. Mr. Payne? Yes, Your Honor? As Mr. Wright just told us, the victim was struck with a blunt object. Would you explain to the court just what that object was? The murder weapon was this statue of the thinker. It was found lying on the floor next to the victim. I see. The court accepts it into evidence. And then it goes into our suitcase, and I don't understand. Right. Be sure to pay attention to any evidence added during the trial. That evidence is the only ammunition that you have in court. Touch the court record button to check the court record frequently. No shit, it's like push the ignition button to ignite the car. Not entirely. Shut up! Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its first witness. The prosecution calls the defendant, Mr. Butts, to the stand. Chief, what do I do now? Pay attention. You don't want to miss any information that might help your client's case. You'll get your chance to respond to the prosecution later, so be ready. Let's just hope he doesn't say anything unfortunate. Uh-oh. Larry gets excited easily. This could be bad. Ahem. Mr. Butts, is it not true that the victim had recently dumped you? Hey! Watch it, buddy! We were great together! We were Romeo and Juliet! Cleopatra and Mark Antony! Didn't they all die? I wasn't dumped. She just wasn't taking my phone calls, or seeing me, ever. What's it to you, anyway? Mr. Butts, what you describe is generally what we mean by dumped. In fact, she had completely abandoned you, and was seeing other men. She had just returned from overseas with one of them the day before the murder. What do you mean, one of them? Lies! All of it! Lies! I don't believe a word of it! Your Honor, the victim's passport? According to this, she was in Paris until the day before she died. Yep, that's... They just submitted evidence to prove that he was dumped. Indeed, she appears to have returned the day before the murder. Dude! No way! The victim was a model, but did not have a large income. It appears that she had several sugar daddies. Daddies? Sugar? Yes, older men who gave her money and gifts. She took their money and used it to support her lifestyle. Dude! We can clearly see what kind of woman this Miss Stone was. Tell me, Mr. Butts, what do you think of her now? Right. I don't think you want him to answer that question. Yeah, Larry has a way of running his mouth in all the wrong directions. Should I... My client had no idea the victim was seeing other men. That question is irrelevant to the case. Oof. Dude, Nick, what do you mean irrelevant? That cheating she-dog. I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna drop dead. Yeah, and when I meet her in the afterlife, I'm going to get to the bottom of this! I can't actually shout in this room. I'm already shouting pretty loud. I don't know. Let's continue with the trial, shall we? Because that was kind of controversial. I believe the accused's motive is clear to everyone. Yes, quite. Oh boy. This is so not looking good. Next question. You went to the victim's apartment on the day of the murder, did you not? Well, did you or did you not? Well, maybe I did and maybe I didn't. Uh-oh. He went. What do we do? I know, I'll send him a signal. Tell the truth. best signal, I love it. This is a wonderful way to get his objection pose. Before he actually objects. Yeah, I was there. I went. Order! Well, Mr. Butts? Dude, chill! She wasn't home, man, so, like, I didn't see her. Your Honor, the defendant is lying. Lying? The prosecution would like to call a witness who can prove Mr. Butts is lying. Well, that simplifies matters. Who is your witness? The man who found the victim's body. Just before making the gruesome discovery, he saw the defendant fleeing the scene of the crime. Order in the court! Seriously, this is not the... Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call this witness. Yes, Your Honor. And now I have to think about a new guy. I need a voice for that guy, don't I? This is bad. On the day of the murder, my witness was selling newspapers at the victim's building. Please bring Mr. Frank Sarrett to the stand. Okay, this is not the best of puns. I like this guy. Mr. Sarrett, you sell newspaper subscriptions, is that correct? Oh yes! Newspapers, yes. Mr. Sarrett, you may proceed with your testimony. Please tell the court what you saw on the day of the murder. Done! And this is the first actual thing that you can do in the game. Well, not this. This game is about getting information given to you, reviewing it, and then finding contradictions in more information that's given into you. So, in other words, it is just like a full-on detective game. I was going door to door, selling subscriptions, when I saw a man fleeing an apartment. I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. Thinking it strange, I looked inside the apartment. Then I saw her lying there. A woman, not moving. Dead! I quailed in fright and found myself unable to go inside. I thought to call the police immediately. However, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. I remember the time exactly. It was 1 p.m. The man who ran away was, without a doubt, the defendant sitting right over there. Larry, why didn't you tell the truth? I can't defend you against a testimony like that. Really, Phoenix? This is your job. If you can't defend him, the game is over. Come on, we're going home. Incidentally, why wasn't the phone in the victim's apartment working? Your Honor, at the time of the murder, there was a blackout in the building. Weren't phones supposed to work during a blackout? Yes, Your Honor. However, some cordless phones do not function normally. The phone that Mr. Sarrett used was one of those. Your Honor, I have a record of the blackout for your perusal. By the way, yes, we have no evidence and they are giving us all the evidence. This is how the beginning cases always start. We have no investigation time whatsoever. So wonderful, isn't it? Now, Mr. Wright. Yes? Yes, Your Honor? You may begin your cross-examination. Cross-examination, Your Honor? Alright, Wright. This is it. The real deal. What exactly am I supposed to do? Nick! Why, you exposed the lies in the testimony the witness just gave you. Lies? What? He was lying? Nick! Your client is innocent, right? Then that witness must have lied in his testimony. Or is it your client really guilty? Is your client really guilty? Ugh, lines. How do I prove he's not? You hold the key. It's in the evidence. Compare the witness's testimony to the evidence at hand. There's bound to be a contradiction in there. First, find contradictions between the court record and the witness's testimony. Then, once you've found the contradicting evidence, present it and rub it in the witness's face. Okay. Touch the court record Touch the court record button and point out contradictions in the testimony. Okay. This is the same testimony over again. You might notice that there. I can't remember what the Y button is in this game. The Y button actually activates the microphone. Because in this game, this particular port, you can shout all of the things into the microphone and activate the commands this way. We can't do this though. So, instead we're going to do is just... we're going to look over this. I'm going to point you to this, because it says 4 PM to 5 PM, but if you remember... what time did Mr. Frank saw it say it was? Because he made a very loud statement of the time. See? This is a very loud statement of the time. It is... it was 1 PM when he found her dead, but it's 4 to 5 PM when she died, so... you found the body at 1 PM. You're sure? Yes! It was 1 PM for certain. Frankly, I find that hard to believe. Your statement directly contradicts the autopsy report. The autopsy notes the time of death at some time after 4 PM. There was no body to find at 1 PM. How do you explain this 3-hour gap? Oh, that. Oh, this is trivial. The witness merely forgot the time. After his testimony, I find it hard to believe. Mr. Sword, why were you so clear that why were you so certain that you found the body at 1 PM? I could read these lines so much better. I swear it's because I'm recording. Gee, that's a really good question. Great job, Wright. Way to put him on the spot. That's all you have to do. Point out contradictions. Lies always beget more lies. See through one and their whole story falls apart. Wait! I remember now. Would you care to give your testimony again? Gotta read more lines of this guy. Excellent. Things are going on in the chat room, so they can't look at. You see, when I found the body, I heard the time. There was a voice saying the time. It was probably coming from the television. Oh, but it was 3 hours off, wasn't it? I guess the victim must have been watching a video of a tape program. That's why I thought it was 1 p.m. Terribly sorry about the misunderstanding. His voice has entirely changed, and I don't care. And this guy's only in like 1 case, I don't care. I see. You heard there was a delay in the sound from the screen. You heard a voice saying the time on a taped program. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Right. You know what to do. I've got this one. Game face on. So is there anything particularly odd about the statement? It's like... Well, yeah, what's the thing that we just heard about the situation? What are things that don't work in blackouts?
Objection!
Hold it right there! The prosecution has said there was a blackout at the time of the discovery. And this record proves it. You couldn't have heard a television or a video. The defense has a point. Do you have an explanation for this, Mr. Sword? No, I find it quite puzzling myself, quite. Why, wait, I remember now. Mr. Sword? The court would prefer to hear an accurate testimony from the very beginning. These constant corrections are harming your credibility. No shit. That, and you seem rather distraught. He's got like the most... my apologies, Your Honor. It must have been the shock of finding the body. Very well, Mr. Sword. Let's hear your testimony once more, please. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. It's like the new Link model. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Actually, I didn't hear the time. I saw it. There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there? Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. That must have been what I saw. You saw a clock? I guess that would explain it. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Gladly. You can tell he already knows what's going on. Right, you can get extra dialogue if you cycle through the entire testimony. But we don't have to on this first case because it's so bloody easy. This guy's referring to a table clock. Specifically, he's referring to it as the murder weapon. Does this look like a clock to you? It doesn't look like a clock to me.
Objection!
Wait just a moment. The murder weapon wasn't a clock. It was a statue. Now, how is this supposed to be a clock? What? You with your objections and your evidence. Just who do you think you are? Just answer the question, Mr. Sawit. Hey, I saw it there, okay? That's a clock! Your Honor, if I may? Yes, Mr. Payne? As the witness stated, this statue is indeed a clock. The neck is a switch. You just tilt it and it says the time out loud. As it doesn't look like a clock, I submitted it as a statue. My apologies. I see. So the murder weapon was a table clock after all. Well, Mr. Wright, it appears that the witness's testimony was correct. This is a clock. Do you have any problems with his testimony now? Yes. Your Honor, there is a gaping hole in the witness's testimony. The only way he could have known the weapon was a clock is to hold it in his hand. Yet the witness testified that he never entered the apartment. Clearly a contradiction. Indeed. The witness knew it was a clock because he... Well, he saw these papers, so would he know? You're lying. You were inside the apartment on the day of the murder.
Oh yeah? Prove it. Prove I went in there.
I'll do better than that. I can prove you were the one who killed her. You struck her with the clock, and the shock of the blow triggered the clock's voice. That was the sound you heard. Order in the court. Intriguing. Please continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Well, I actually saw the opening to this case. Never mind. Mr. Sawit. The sound must have left quite an impression on you. Understandable, since the murder weapon spoke as you hit the victim. That voice was burned into your mind. That's why you were so certain about the time.
Wait! What's the meaning of this? This is all baseless conjecture.
Do you mean I can't get anybody's voice straight because there's so many people who scream in this? Baseless? Just look at the witness's face! Would the witness care to elaborate? Did you strike the victim with the clock?
That day, I never... Look, the clock, I heard... No, I mean, I saw it. Shut up! I hate you! It was him, I tell you! I saw him! He killed her! And he should burn! Give him death!
He's actually a lot heavier than he looks. At the front. Order! Order in the court, I say!
Your Honor, a moment, please. There isn't a shred of evidence supporting the defense's claims.
Mr. Wright. Your Honor, you claim the sound the witness heard came from the clock. Do you have any evidence? The whole case is riding on this. I better think it through carefully. Yes, Your Honor. The sound Mr. Sawit heard was definitely this clock. A fact which is clear if you simply... Let's sound the clock now. Here in this court. Your Honor, may I have the clock? I ask the court to listen very carefully. Beep. I think it's 8:25. That certainly is a very strange way to announce the time. Well, he is the thinker, after all. So, we've heard the clock. What are your conclusions, Mr. Wright? Mr. Payne, can you tell me what time it is now?
It's 11:25.
As you can see, this clock is exactly 3 hours slow. Precisely the discrepancy between what Mr. Sawit heard and the actual time of death. So, Mr. Sawit, try to talk your way out of this one. You forgot one thing. Uh-oh. What's he talking about? Well, it may seem like the clock is running 3 hours slow. It proves nothing. How do you know it was running 3 hours slow on the day of the murder? If you can't prove that, you don't have a case! He's right. How am I going to prove that? Damn it, I was so close. Mr. Wright, it seems you lack the critical evidence to support your claim. Yes, Your Honor. This means I cannot let you indict the witness. Unfortunately, this ends the cross-examination of Mr. Frank Sawit. I come all the way here to testify, and look what happens! They treat me like a criminal! A criminal! You lawyers are all slime! Ugh, I almost had him. Sorry, Larry. I failed you. There's nothing I can do about it now. Not so fast, Mr. Sawit! Rita! I mean, Chief! Listen up, Wright. Don't throw this one away. Not like this. Think. But, Chief, it's over. I can't prove the clock was slow the day of the murder. Nobody can prove that. Well, yes. But that doesn't mean you can't still win. Try thinking out of the box. Don't waste time doubting the facts. Assume the clock was 3 hours slow and think it through. Ask yourself, why is the clock 3 hours slow? Figure out the reason and you'll have your proof. Right? Can you think for a reason as to why the clock would be 3 hours slow? Do we have anything in the text, you think? Well, let's see. How about the court record? It's the ultimate source of text. So, have you worked it out yet? Wait! Maybe I can prove it! You must have evidence somewhere that can prove it, Wright. Find it and let them have it. Well, Mr. Wright? You say the clock was already running slow on the day of the murder. Have you found evidence to support that claim? Of course! There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can prove my claim beyond a doubt. Tough words. Let's see you pull this one off. Let's see this evidence that proves why the clock was running so slow. Are you ready, kids? The victim had just returned home from abroad the day before the murder. As we all know, the time difference between here and Paris is 9 hours. When it's 4 p.m. here, it's 1 a.m. there the next day. The clock wasn't 3 hours slow, it was 9 hours fast. The victim hadn't reset her clock since returning home. That's why the time you heard when you struck her dead in her apartment was wrong. Proof enough for you, Mr. Saw It, or should I say Mr. Did It? He disappeared! Order! Order, I say! Well, this case has certainly turned out differently than we all expected. Mr. Payne, your client?
He was arrested and has been taken away, Your Honor.
Very well. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I have to say I'm impressed. I don't think I've ever seen someone complete a defense so quickly, and find the true culprit at the same time. Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, this is only a formality, but this court finds the defendant, Mr. Larry Butts, not guilty. Yeah! We got a party! Woo! And with that, the court is adjourned. It turns out that Frank Sawit was a common burglar. He posed as a newspaper salesman to check and see when people were out of the house. That day, when Larry went to her apartment, the victim wasn't home. After he left, Mr. Sawit let himself in to do his dirty work. While he was searching her place, the victim returned. Flustered, Mr. Sawit grabbed the nearest blunt object he could find. Whew. I still can't believe the music just slowed down. It's still slowing down. What's wrong? I still can't believe we won. Right? Good job in there. Congratulations. Thanks, Chief. I owe it all to you. Not at all, not at all. You fought your own battles in there. It's been a while since I've seen a trial end in such a satisfying note. I've never seen the Chief looking this happy. If she's this glad, Imagine how Larry must feel. My life is over. Larry! You're supposed to be happy! What's wrong now? Aw, Nick. Don't worry about me. I'll be dead and gone soon. Good. Wait, no! I mean bad. Larry, you're innocent. The case is closed. But my Cindy Windy's gone, man. Gone forever. Larry, she was a... Nah, never mind. Congratulations, Harry. Harry? Yes, you. I can practically see the headlines now. Harry Butts, innocent. Thanks. I really owe you one. I won't forget this ever. Let's celebrate. Dinner? Movie? My treat? Oh, no, I couldn't. Hey, I was the one who got you off the hook. Oh, hey. Here, take this. It's a present. A present? For me? Wait, wasn't this the evidence that... Actually, I made this clock for her. I made one for her and one for me. Really? You? You made this? Well, thank you. I'll keep it as a memento. Yo, Nick. Can you believe it? I was so into that chick. And she was just playing me for a fool. Doesn't that make you just want to cry? Larry. Are you so sure? Excuse me? I think she fought quite a lot of you in her own way. Nah, you don't gotta sympathize with me, it's okay. Oh, I'm not just sympathizing, really. Isn't that right? Don't you have something to show your friend? Something that proves how she felt about him. Huh? Oh, yeah, right. What the heck is she talking about? She's talking about this. I think. Check this out, Larry. Proof positive you weren't just some chump to her. Huh? Where'd you get that clock? This is the clock you made for her, Larry. She took it with her when she traveled. She probably just needed the clock, that's all. You think so? It's a pretty heavy clock to take traveling. Well, make of it what you will. Hey, Nick. I'm glad I asked you to be my lawyer. Really, I am. Thank you. Hope that made him feel a little better. I'm sorry if my accent is in the hospital place. Right? I hope you see the importance of evidence now. Also, hopefully you realize things change depending on how you look at them. People, too. We never really know if our clients are guilty or innocent. All we can do is believe in them. And in order to believe in them, you have to believe in yourself. Right? Listen, learn, grow strong. Never let go of what you believe in. Never. Well, I think our work here is done. Shall we be off? Yeah, I guess so. Say, how's about dinner? On me? We'll drink a toast to innocent butts. Yeah! Oh, speaking of Harry, you were saying part of why you became a lawyer was because of him? Yeah, part at least. You'll have to tell me more about it sometime. Maybe over drinks? And so, my first trial came to a close. Larry slapped me on the back and said, "Gee, Nick, it's good to have friends." But I'm pretty sure he's not gonna pay me. Unless you count the clock he gave Mia. I didn't know it then. But that clock was soon going to be at the center of another incident. And my promise to tell the chief about me and Larry would be one promise that I wouldn't be able to keep. And that's the end of the first episode of the game.